The entire global hip-hop landscape has just suffered a catastrophic, absolute structural collapse. Within the last 45 minutes, a highly confidential, unedited behind-the-scenes video clip has leaked directly online, completely destroying the legendary, multi-million-dollar, biggest boss illusion of Rick Ross forever. And the most terrifying, radioactive part of this cultural execution? The man who officially pulled the digital pin on this social media grenade is none other than the boy himself, Drake. This isn't a subliminal rap diss, and this isn't a petty Instagram caption. Drake has just unleashed an absolute psychological doomsday drop, exposing a raw, deeply humiliating, and desperate behind-the-scenes tape where Rick Ross is caught in a state of absolute, unmitigated physical panic, begging and pleading behind closed doors as his entire reality falls apart. This single, raw leak has officially evicted Rick Ross from his throne of street credibility, turning his untouchable boss persona into complete, utter mockery. What is locked inside this forbidden footage, and how did Drake use it to trigger a historic, point-of-no-return exposure? Keep watching, because we are stripping away the layers of this conspiracy right now. To truly understand the absolute, earth-shattering magnitude of the physical and psychological devastation unfolding across the music business right now, we have to completely tear open the historical archives and expose the raw, bleeding roots of this legendary conflict. This is not some temporary, casual social media trend or a manufactured marketing stunt designed to generate quick streaming metrics for a new album release. What you are actively witnessing is the brutal, multi-year culmination of an uncompromising psychological war of attrition between Aubrey, Drake, Graham, and William Leonard Roberts II, the man who meticulously built an entire multi-million-dollar kingdom on the hyperinflated, untamable name of Rick Ross. For nearly 2 decades, these two industry juggernauts were not enemies. They were the absolute golden standard of hip-hop collaborations, the ultimate cheat code of the music business. From the smooth, late-night luxury vibes of Aston Martin music to the raw, high-stakes street poetry of Lord Knows and Stay Schemin', their voices combined to soundtrack an entire generation of wealth, power, and prestige. Every time they stepped into a recording studio together, they minted platinum records and manufactured the absolute illusion of an unbreakable, brotherhood-bound alliance. They were the two kings of luxury rap, standing shoulder to shoulder on a mountain of gold, convincing the entire world that their alliance was completely untouchable. But as any high-level insider in the music industry will tell you, alliances built on ego, hyperinflated brand presentation, and competitive dominance are naturally destined to implode. The shift from brothers-in-arms to bitter, unforgiving rivals didn't happen overnight, but when the fracture finally occurred, it shattered the music business to its absolute core. The world watched in absolute shock during the historic hip-hop civil war when Drake fired the first explicit shots and Rick Ross, operating with immediate, remorseless velocity, countered within hours. Ross threw highly personalized insults regarding plastic surgery and financial dependency directly at the Toronto mogul, weaponizing viral memes and turning a serious hip-hop dispute into a worldwide comedy show. For Ross, it was a game of public humiliation, a calculated attempt to dismantle Drake's credibility. But what Ross failed to realize is that Drake is a clinical, slow-burning chess player. While Ross spent the subsequent years laughing on podcasts, screaming on his Instagram stories, and performing their classic collaborations while explicitly muting Drake's vocals to show dominance, the OVO leader was quietly operating in the shadows, compiling a forensic folder of real, raw, and unedited digital weapons. You see, the entire foundation of Rick Ross's biggest boss brand relies on a single, fragile pillar: absolute, unflinching control. The expensive cars, the 100-room promised land mansion, the heavy gold chains, and the deep, booming voice are all carefully curated assets designed to project godlike invincibility. In the entertainment business, if a boss is caught looking weak, desperate, or completely helpless behind closed doors, the entire illusion evaporates. Drake understood this psychological vulnerability with terrifying precision. He knew that to truly destroy Rick Ross, he didn't need to write a better verse or release another diss track. He needed to capture the man behind the curtain, unmasked, unprotected, and stripped of his manufactured majesty. Which brings us directly to the terrifying reality of the leaked behind-the-scenes video clip that has just hit the internet. This is the exact moment the timeline fractured. Drake didn't just leak a video. He unleashed a highly confidential, raw piece of footage that exposes a side of Rick Ross the public was never, under any circumstances, supposed to see. The digital clock is ticking, and the streets are in a literal state of panic as the ultimate luxury lie is completely annihilated. Get ready, because we are about to break down the absolute, sinister paper trail Drake used to secure this footage, and the terrifying first twist that proves this warfare has just crossed a point of no return. The absolute structural nightmare began flashing across insider networks at exactly 4:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time yesterday, completely tearing down the final remnants of corporate and personal secrecy. To fully understand how beautifully and ruthlessly calculated this strike truly is, you have to visualize the exact geographic coordinate where the luxury illusion was shattered. The high-security, ultra-private VIP green room of an international luxury arena in Vancouver, Canada. This is the exact territory where Ross's security team had previously faced an intense, highly publicized physical altercation, making the location itself feel like a volatile, psychological minefield. According to highly detailed leaks provided by high-level venue security personnel who witnessed the entire event unfold, Rick Ross was preparing to host a massive, high-stakes after-party surrounded by international corporate investors, liquor brand executives, and major fashion brand managers. The atmosphere in the room was supposed to be a presentation of extreme, untouchable opulence. Ross was wearing his most iconic, custom-built, heavy gold Cuban link chains, a piece his brand had repeatedly claimed was valued at an astronomical $750,000. He was smoking a premium cigar and projecting the aura of a man who owned the entire city. But suddenly, the entire environment collapsed into panic. According to eyewitnesses, a highly prominent independent videographer closely aligned with the OVO media network managed to bypass the primary security checkpoints, carrying a specialized, high-intensity, forensic macro lens camera. As Ross leaned back against the leather lounge seating, sweating profusely under the extreme heat of the indoor stage lights and the heavy weight of the massive neckpiece, the camera captured a series of ultra-high-definition, unedited close-up shots of the rapper's neckline. Within minutes, the videographer vanished from the venue, routing the uncompressed footage directly to a secured OVO digital server. What those high-definition lenses captured was nothing short of a biological and public relations catastrophe. Underneath the gold-plated exterior of the massive links, a dark, vivid, neon green ring of oxidized copper chemical residue was bleeding directly into Rick Ross's skin. The intense heat, heavy sweat, and friction had triggered an aggressive, painful chemical reaction, causing his skin to visibly blister and peel. The unedited, raw video shows Rick Ross, completely stripped of his untouchable, deep-voiced boss persona, frantically pacing around the room in a state of absolute, unmitigated physical panic. His voice, usually a booming, confident baritone, is captured cracking and sounding incredibly high-pitched and desperate as he clutches his neck and screams at his assistants. "Turn the AC up now. My skin is burning, man. Get these chains off me. I don't care about the cameras in the hallway. Cut the lights. I can't breathe. Get the makeup team to cover this up before the investors see me." The biggest boss was caught literally begging his staff to find a medical ointment, frantically crying out in terror because the green, decaying residue on his neck was exposing him as a complete fraud. Less than 2 hours after the video was captured, the digital infrastructure of the hip-hop community completely fractured. Drake took to his main social media feed, uploading the raw, uncompressed video clip alongside a series of highly confidential, internal financial invoices from a private jewelry manufacturer. The caption beneath the leaked footage was dripping with remorseless, surgical venom. "Ricky, the presentation is officially dead. You out here rapping about millions and buying 100-room mansions, but you're backstage crying over cheap, copper-plated brass turning your neck green. The jewelry store receipts don't lie, little man. Pack up the boss persona. Your time is up." The green neck receipts are locked into the algorithm forever. The emotional fallout inside Rick Ross's immediate inner circle was described by insiders as nothing short of absolute, blood-soaked carnage. At approximately 6:30 a.m., an anonymous whistleblower account on Telegram leaked verified screenshots of an encrypted corporate WhatsApp group chat labeled MMG Emergency Defense. The text messages painted a terrifying picture of pure, unadulterated panic and internal corporate terror as the reality of Drake's strike set in. In the leaked transcripts, Ross was reportedly going on a furious, unchecked rampage inside his mansion, screaming in all capital letters, demanding to know who allowed that camera angle, and ordering his legal team to shut down the media servers immediately before the liquor brand executives froze his distribution payouts forever. When his chief legal counsel responded that a standard cease and desist cannot pull down a photo that Drake has actively hosted under a protected framework, Ross went completely out of bounds, ordering his team to force the jeweler to sign a false affidavit saying the piece was real gold, or the entire brand would be completely finished. But right here, at the absolute peak of the chaos, comes the first mind-bending twist that has left the world's top corporate lawyers completely paralyzed with shock. As investigative journalists and forensic accountants began deeply analyzing the corporate shell name listed on the leaked jewelry wholesale invoices, they discovered a hidden detail that turned this entire celebrity scandal into a literal psychological thriller. The fake, gold-plated brass chain had not been ordered simply to save money for a music video shoot. It turns out that exactly 6 months prior, Rick Ross's authentic, solid gold diamond-encrusted chain had been reported stolen to a major global luxury insurance firm, resulting in a massive $750,000 insurance payout to his corporate estate. The replica brass chain was manufactured secretly to replace the stolen asset in public appearances, so that no one would notice the original item was gone. By exposing the fact that the chain currently around Ross's neck was a cheap, green-turning fake, Drake did not just expose a fake piece of jewelry, he accidentally handed federal prosecutors concrete evidence of a massive, high-level insurance fraud conspiracy that could trigger immediate criminal indictments. Rick Ross was not just losing his street credibility, he was actively walking straight into a legal trap where his absolute freedom was on the line, and the situation was about to get infinitely more dangerous. The digital landscape did not just fracture, it suffered a complete and total structural collapse at exactly 1:15 p.m. yesterday afternoon when Drake went live on his primary network. He wasn't sitting in a regular studio, and he wasn't broadcasting from the back of a luxury armored vehicle. Instead, he was streaming directly from the high-security vault room of a top-tier luxury asset liquidation firm in Toronto. Over 2 million concurrent viewers watched in absolute horror as the OVO mogul held up a thick, notarized folder of corporate acquisition contracts. Laughing hysterically while pouring a glass of premium champagne, he looked dead into the camera lens and dropped the second, most catastrophic twist of this entire saga. He revealed that his media conglomerate had quietly executed a complete asset buyout of the exact high-end Miami jewelry laboratory that manufactured Ross's gold-plated brass replica 3 weeks ago. "I don't just have a leaked invoice, Ricky," Drake said with a chilling, calm smile. "I literally own the company that built your lie. I own the molds. I own the server logs. And guess what? My legal team just sent the entire paper trail to your insurance underwriters." By purchasing the laboratory, Drake didn't just acquire a business, he acquired the forensic data. He officially triggered a high-stakes corporate fraud audit, giving Ross exactly 24 hours before his global banking assets are frozen for grand larceny and felony insurance misrepresentation. This meant the medical scandal had officially graduated from a personal embarrassment into a major criminal and regulatory disaster. Within minutes, the internet suffered a total algorithmic meltdown. The hashtag #GreenNeckRicky went completely nuclear, tracking over 3 million chaotic, panicked posts within 3 hours on X, formerly known as Twitter. The digital space completely lost its mind as users began posting hyper-magnified, split-screen comparisons of Ross's past red carpet appearances against forensic charts of copper oxidation. The narrative had completely shifted from a simple entertainment dispute into an unprecedented corporate execution live on the internet. Major media commentators completely lost control of their broadcasts. DJ Academics was spotted screaming at the top of his lungs on his live stream, slamming his fists onto his desk while scrolling through the public court filings, shouting that Drake didn't just win the beef. He literally bought the very tools of the man's destruction. Industry insiders began leaking panic-stricken texts from mid-level MMG employees realizing their payroll accounts might be frozen by the end of the week. The firestorm quickly spread to Ross's closest industry allies, triggering absolute panic. Meek Mill attempted to intervene, posting a frantic, aggressive defense on his timeline, claiming the green ring video was nothing but corporate propaganda and deepfake technology engineered to bring down independent black wealth. But Drake, operating with absolute, clinical malice, clapped back within seconds, publicly telling Meek to shut up before he leaked the manufacturing invoices for his own watch collection, which he claimed was made of recycled aluminum cans. The psychological terror was so immense that Meek Mill completely scrubbed the post from the internet within 60 seconds, sending a wave of absolute silence through the remaining Maybach Music Group roster. By late evening, the corporate backlash became completely merciless. Top-tier luxury beverage brands and global lifestyle companies reportedly called emergency midnight board meetings to immediately suspend their multi-million-dollar endorsement contracts with Ross, terrified of the impending brand damage associated with a federal fraud investigation. Even longtime hip-hop heavyweights completely vanished from his mentions, with global superstars going completely radio silent to protect their own corporate alignments. But just when the public thought the drama had reached its absolute ceiling, a third terrifying piece of evidence leaked from a verified whistleblower account on an encrypted Telegram channel at exactly 11:45 p.m. A blurry, high-contrast photograph surfaced showing an official federal courier vehicle parked directly outside the heavy iron gates of Rick Ross's primary Georgia estate, the Promised Land. The camera caught a close-up glimpse of a high-security guard taking delivery of a massive, sealed, heavy-duty manila envelope. The return address stamped on the top corner did not belong to a commercial bank or Drake's shell company. It belonged to the Criminal Investigation Division of the Internal Revenue Service. The leaked text accompanying the photo alleges that federal investigators did not just receive the insurance fraud data, they have actively initiated an emergency criminal audit that goes infinitely deeper than a counterfeit chain. Is the federal government preparing to seize the entire 300-acre Promised Land mansion? What terrifying evidence is locked inside that federal envelope? The doomsday countdown clock is moving closer to zero, and the answers are about to change everything. The sheer, terrifying velocity at which this backstage leak is expanding has completely overwhelmed the global digital infrastructure, transforming every major social media network into a volatile, high-octane battleground. We are talking about millions of live accounts, verified industry figures, and international news outlets locked in an absolute state of intense psychological warfare. The commentary sections across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube have completely devolved into toxic, hyperactive trenches, dividing the entire cultural landscape into two fiercely hostile factions that are actively tearing each other apart. On one side of the digital trenches, Team Drake has launched an absolute, remorseless victory parade that is utterly crushing the timeline. The internet has been completely weaponized by the OVO fanbase, flooding every single archival post of Rick Ross's luxury lifestyle with billions of copper, brass, and green ring emojis. The sheer level of public mockery has reached an absolute peak of cruelty. One viral thread on X, accumulating over 500,000 likes, laid out the devastation. Drake didn't just defeat him in a rap battle, he literally executed a hostile corporate takeover of the man's entire physical existence. Imagine flexing a billionaire empire for 20 years, cutting Drake's vocals out of Aston Martin music at your Verzuz and calling him Little Man, just to find out your worst enemy bought the company that manufactured your fake jewelry. Repo Ricky is officially out of bounds. If your multi-million-dollar chain is turning your neck neon green, you aren't a boss, you're a high school science experiment. Another massive trending thread has fans aggressively analyzing old music videos, claiming that every single luxury item Ross ever displayed was nothing more than a temporary rental prop destined to be repossessed by OVO's intelligence network. But on the completely opposite side of the ledger, Rick Ross's diehard loyalists and financial purists are firing back with an absolute, desperate rage that is threatening to break the internet. They are flooding the global algorithmic streams with dark conspiracy theories, screaming that the leaked internal bank ledgers, the jewelry wholesaler invoices, and the green residue video are nothing but a highly sophisticated, deepfake cyber attack engineered by Drake's specialized technical team. Top Ross fan pages have been uploading frantic, emotionally intense video essays, directly addressing the audience to defend the icon's legacy. One prominent commentator stated, "Y'all are completely blind to the corporate propaganda being injected into the culture. This isn't a financial failure. It's a calculated, targeted economic assassination designed to dismantle a prominent black billionaire's independent infrastructure." The green mark on his neck is nothing more than a dynamic lighting reflection caused by the club's neon strobes hitting high-purity emerald setting accents. Drake is displaying a pathological, dangerous obsession that has crossed every sacred line of the streets. The mainstream news media has immediately capitalized on this explosive polarization, dragging the drama from internet blogs straight onto global television screens. Breaking news banners are flashing across traditional entertainment networks with relentless urgency. On the morning broadcast of the industry's biggest radio show, the hosts completely abandoned their scheduled programming, locking into an intense, 3-hour screaming match over the survival of the Maybach Music Group brand entity. Even longtime associates are scrambling. French Montana, caught directly in the crossfire after his recent Versus battle with Ross, reportedly tried to play peacekeeper during a radio interview, shrugging off the divide by saying, "Brothers always fight and make up. Man, nobody got shot." But the streets know this is different. The anchors openly warned that if the Internal Revenue Service's Criminal Investigation Division is truly standing at the gates of the Promised Land with files supplied directly by Drake's private investigators, this stops being standard rap beef theater. This is a real-life, systemic corporate execution from which no public persona can ever recover. Every major streaming platform is reporting unprecedented traffic spikes as viewers frantically refresh the live court dockets, completely desperate to see whose name will appear on the first official federal asset freeze order. The division has grown so profound that even casual or neutral observers are realizing that whatever drops within the next few hours will permanently alter the legal boundaries of the music industry forever, leaving a burning question tearing through the culture. Who is the true hunter, and who is actually the prey? And just when the public thought this psychological warfare had reached its peak, a hidden dark web transmission is about to detonate a final, devastating twist that will change everything. Prepare yourself for the absolute, ultimate mind-bending climax that is about to turn everything you think you know about this multi-million-dollar jewelry war completely upside down. At exactly 2:15 a.m., just a few hours ago, a high-level decentralized hacker collective operating on the encrypted layers of the dark web dropped a classified audio file that has left forensic financial analysts and international corporate lawyers completely paralyzed with terror. The file, titled simply MMG_jewelry_strategy_06, contains a secret, intercepted phone conversation between Rick Ross and his primary high-stakes criminal defense attorney, recorded just moments after the Federal Courier delivered that mysterious manila envelope to his estate gates. The audio is terrifyingly clear, yet filled with a suffocating, chilling atmosphere. Rick Ross is not crying. He's not panicking, and he is certainly not running around his mansion in a state of absolute ruin. Instead, what sent frozen waves of shock down the spines of everyone who listened to the leak was the unmistakable sound of Rick Ross letting out a slow, sinister, raspy, booming laugh. He tells his attorney in a tone that is bone-chillingly calm, "Let him talk, man. Let him take the video to the media and throw the invoices around." The boy swallowed the bait hook, line, and sinker. He thinks he's playing high-level chess, but he just walked his entire OVO empire straight into a federal buzzsaw. The script of this entire conflict has just been completely rewritten in blood. According to the explosive legal strategy that Ross outlines to his counsel in the leaked audio file, the entire fake chain default, the backstage video exposure, and the subsequent asset buyout was not a financial failure by Maybach Music Group. It was a beautifully orchestrated, lethal reverse corporate trap. The leaked audio reveals that the custom jewelry laboratory Drake proudly bought out was already under an active, top-secret federal criminal investigation by the Department of Justice for international counterfeit smuggling and massive gold deficit tax evasion. Ross's financial advisors had discovered the sealed federal investigation months ago. Realizing that the entire business entity was completely toxic, Ross intentionally ordered the cheap replica chain and left a blatant paper trail for Drake's private investigators to find. He knew with absolute certainty that Drake's toxic obsession with destroying his legacy would force him to do something completely reckless. Ross calculated that the moment the distressed jewelry lab went up for corporate sale, Drake would jump at the chance to buy it out to execute his ultimate public revenge. And that is exactly what happened. The second Drake's company, Prestige Sky Holdings LLC, purchased that custom jewelry operation. Aubrey Graham legally assumed 100% of the financial liabilities, the corrupted corporate history, and the active federal criminal investigation attached to that asset. The dark web leak proves that the massive, terrifying IRS envelope delivered to the gates of the Promised Land was not a fraud notification for Ross. It was a formal federal notification informing him that because his jewelry transactions were now owned by a third-party entity under active criminal investigation, he was officially cleared of all personal liability. The Internal Revenue Service was actually warning Ross that they were moving into freeze and seize the corporate accounts of the new owner, Prestige Sky Holdings. Drake didn't just buy Rick Ross's debt. Drake accidentally bought himself a one-way ticket into a federal criminal investigation by trying to pull off the ultimate financial execution. The immediate fallout is turning into a literal horror movie for OVO. Unverified insider reports are claiming that within the last 60 minutes, the Department of Justice has issued an emergency temporary freeze order on all corporate accounts associated with Prestige Sky Holdings LLC until the origin of the millions of dollars used to buy the jewelry business can be verified under anti-money laundering statutes. Drake's brilliant master plan has completely backfired, dragging both of hip-hop's biggest moguls into a financial death match where the loser doesn't just lose their properties, they lose their actual freedom. Right now, unconfirmed reports are claiming that unmarked federal vehicles have just been spotted heading toward Drake's corporate headquarters in Toronto, while local authorities have temporarily blocked off the main entries to Ross's Georgia estate to control the media chaos. The entire culture is holding its breath. This is no longer a rap beef. It is a literal countdown to a systemic execution, and the next 24 hours will change the music industry forever. The doomsday clock is counting down to zero, but nobody knows who will be the first to face an official federal arrest warrant. The structural collapse of OVO's financial wing is completely unprecedented, and independent insiders are whispering that a secondary, unreleased audio file contains details that could compromise names even bigger than Drake. The narrative is mutating by the minute, leaving the global audience completely blindsided by the sheer scale of the deception. Are the feds about to breach the corporate gates in Toronto? What is the hidden data clause inside the next leak? The countdown has entered its final, most volatile phase, and the absolute destruction is already loading in the background. The doomsday clock has officially entered the red zone, and the entire hip-hop infrastructure is on the absolute verge of a total structural collapse. I need to hear from you right now. Did Rick Ross just execute the most brilliant reverse trap in history, or is Drake about to drop a nuclear counterblow that ends the MMG empire forever? Whose corporate empire is going to be frozen by the feds first? Drop your predictions in the comments below right now. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. The absolute second that first federal arrest warrant drops, we are going live. Stay tuned. The destruction is loading.